Hi, I'm Suman Gujral. I'm an artist and poet. In 2018, I graduated from the University of Hertfordshire with an MA in Fine Art with distinction. In recent years, my work has centred around the migration crisis. We're living in a time where every 2 seconds, according to the UNHCR, someone is forcibly displaced. This is actually a very shocking fact and something that I think that we don't talk about, so I talk about it through my own work. During lockdown, I started to write poetry again. What happened was that someone was abusive to me on Facebook, and lots of people saw the attack but didn't step up to support me, which left me feeling very isolated and alone until I spoke about this to my mentor, who really stepped up and showed me unconditional support. We had a long conversation about what had happened to me, and the day after this conversation, which I can only describe as profoundly healing, I wrote my first poem in 44 years, and I haven't stopped since. The incident on Facebook taught me how social media can make us feel very exposed and vulnerable, but also led to me realising that it can be a very beneficial and helpful tool as well. I started posting my poems on Facebook and on Instagram, and people reached out to me to tell me that my poems had resonated with them. And I formed lots of new relationships through social media, which have been very supportive and enriching. I'd like to share some of the poems that came out of this experience. Thank you. Dinosaur was written as a riposte to the man who was obnoxious to me on Facebook.
Dinosaur. You don't hesitate to speak to me, as if I'm nothing. How right you feel showing me I'm wrong, not hiding your triumphant malice. But your words are old words. Your kind has nothing new to say. Your aggression, a camouflage for fear. The world is changing, you can't stop it. And everything you have relied on to puff you up and make you feel important is toppling like the broken statues lying at the feet of the new generation.
Here is about identity and how it makes you feel when you feel as if you don't really know where you belong. And that is a question that has come up quite a lot, I feel, in the last few years, post-Brexit, post-BLM.
Here, my parents took me from where I was born across the deep water, and I'm here now, in the doorway, neither in one place nor the other, standing in the nowhere space, the third space, the in-between space, reserved for all of us from somewhere else, even though we are here now.
This next poem is written in response to the fact that I felt people weren't interested or felt uncomfortable when I spoke about my experiences with the online abuse. And it's called Deaf Ears. I see your sidelong glance as I'm speaking. You wish you hadn't asked me how I am. Surely I misunderstood the tone, thanks to my oversensitive shoulder bone. Even if I heard it right, doubtless it was an accidental slight. Although, how does that make it right? If only I could take a joke, that would let you off the hook. You wouldn't have to take a look at your old-fashioned attitudes, then offer hollow platitudes. So obviously a silly quip, I shouldn't even mention it. Why should you take action for my overreaction? I really don't know what to say. It's clear you feel I've spoilt your day. You're itching now to get away. I wish that I could too. This next poem is about how if someone approaches you sympathetically a long time after they've seen a horrible incident happen to you, that it can actually make you feel worse. And it's really important to speak up at the time. And this poem is called Afterwards. When you speak afterwards, you just confirm you saw, you understood the impact of that moment on my soul. These tepid afterwords reveal you kept your silence when it mattered that you spoke. Afterwards are merely further blows. Undertone is a poem about how unsettling the last few years have been and how hard it has been for a lot of us to find our bearings.
Undertow. How strange this time is that we're enduring. Mostly the fertile garden, a delicious meal, good sleep, companionship keep us afloat. But there are days when fear laps at our edges. Its acid touch turns joy to ashes. We are drowning then, desperately trying to outswim uncertainty's cruel grip, flailing in these uncharted waters as we fight the undertow of fear, straining to discern the horizon, our old maps no use, and hope a fragile compass.
My initial reaction after I was abused on Facebook was to hide away, but then I realised that I can stand up for myself. And I wrote a poem about this, which is called I Am Speaking Now. I am speaking now. I was afraid before to shine, be seen, show up. It hurt me somewhere deep to hide my light away, another othered soul. I turned myself to stone, praying for the hunter's gaze to pass me by. I counted up my hurts, built them into walls, sorrowed in their shadows. I felt myself grow small, a pinprick on the earth. I saw the choice before me, rise or disappear. So I am speaking now. I'm at the table now. I'm choosing what is served.
Our space. Don't travel with your tender heart, seeking space in places which won't honour you. Let them slam their doors, throw their stones. You don't need a begging bowl. We'll make our own space, take our own space, safe space, bold space, kind space. We'll be fierce, we'll be strong. We'll make a circle of equality. We'll say, sister, brother, sit with me. We'll make a space for everyone, a place where all of us can shine. Our light will chase away the shadows. Hands on each other's backs. Our hearts will sing.
Light, this poem was written to the woman who stepped up and told me that the man who had been obnoxious to me had also been obnoxious to her. And that felt like a moment of real sisterhood and allyship. And it was hard for her to tell me what had happened, because she was still very upset about it a year later. And when she read my poem on Facebook, that all came back to her. But she told me that my poem made her feel a lot better, and actually her coming forward to me made me feel a lot better.
Light. I felt it when you told me, where its blows fractured you, how its stinking acid words seeped through you, made you porous. Sensed it, growing fat on your distress, skulking in your tender corners. The light it stole from you, leaving you in darkness, silent, silenced. When you said, me too, I loved you for it. Sharing your pain, you honoured mine. Together, we shine stronger, brighter, dispersing it to atoms with our light.
Peace is about how sometimes we just need to step away from the social media and take a walk in the open air, and how that can make us feel so much better, just looking at the beauty of the world outside.
Peace. When the fire has burned out, and I can no longer bear to sit alone trying to read its risky embers, when peace eludes my desperate seeking, and these four walls become a tunnel, echoing my fears and woes back at me, I walk to the shore, longing for the long view, crunching pebbles, anchoring myself in the present, gazing at the infinite sky and sea. The gulls wail their carefree jarring song. The random chanting of the waves reminds me that everything changes, although it seems the same. There are no mysteries to solve here. At the edge of the water, my mind rests. I hold still, breathing in the beauty of the world, feeling the salty caress of the air, listening to the song of the earth, learning again that I am enough.
To an ally was written to my ally in order to explain to him what a difference it made that he had stepped up. And it shows us all what a good ally can do.
To an ally. How have you been, you asked. I hesitated, reluctant to reveal my hurts. Pain old and new reverberating, every atom remembering. But your eyes encouraged me. I told you, my voice crying. I told you I had been injured. Another wound to my gentle soul. I trembled in the silence of the chance I'd taken. Curious, hopeful, undefended. You have been bullied. This shouldn't happen. Make a noise. This is not right. Easy for you to say, I thought. Some of us are weary of this familiar fight. You stepped up, though. Not a brace, a shield. You promised. You don't have to do anything. I will do it for you. Layers of pain dispersed by 6 words. I hadn't known the weight of it until you took my burden. I will do it for you. No hesitation, no further questions. You opened your heart to listen, and I began to heal.
Thank you for listening to my poems, and if you want to find out more about my work, there'll be a link to my website and to my Instagram coming up.